Well, after an opening night to the Democratic National Convention in which we saw party luminaries such as Elizabeth Warren, Michelle Obama, and Bernie Sanders speak, former President Bill Clinton is the headliner tonight here in Philadelphia. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and three mothers who lost children to police violence are also slated to speak. Should be an interesting day, too. But here to discuss day one, Republican strategist and GOP pollster Frank Luntz, good enough to join us in the Wells Fargo Arena here in Philadelphia. Frank, I want to start with a tweet not sent by Donald Trump, but by one Frank Luntz last night in the aftermath of the moment that a big night was still building to, the Bernie Sanders speech. You tweeted, and I quote said tweet, "Bernie is too much about Bernie, not enough about Hillary. His speech tonight won't help her. A real missed opportunity." It's an interesting take. Why do you have it?
And the reason why I was on the floor, and I went down for the last hour, and I actually went down after Al Franken and Sarah Silverman lost control of this crowd. Now, I've been attending conventions since 1992, and I've never seen that happen. I've never seen an entire convention start booing its people at the
Although
podium.
Sarah Silverman at one point said, you made me cut half my speech, and now you're asking me to stretch. I mean, they were getting ready for Paul Simon, we should note, but
it doesn't matter.
They were hanging out.
Yes, but you still are supposed to keep control of your audience. And the audience here in the early hours before it went on to prime time, they were booing all throughout the convention floor. Then by 8 o'clock, they'd calmed down. But every time Hillary Clinton's name was mentioned, there was booing. I thought the Republican convention was a little chaotic. I was not at all prepared for what happened here. Several delegations. You can see the signs there. Several delegations. That's the California delegation right there. In addition to Vermont, behind them was Maine. If you looked over, Idaho. These are specific places in the convention hall where there were 20 or 30 Sanders people, and they simply wanted to have their voices heard. But it's disruptive, and it presents a vision of disunity at a time when they have to bring people together.
But, Frank, we saw what happened when Bernie Sanders earlier in the day
right there
had addressed his supporters. I mean, this is a rabid group. And earlier in the day, when he did a truncated version of the speech he gave last night, he was essentially booed off the stage. Last night, when he hit that inflection point, Hillary Clinton must become the next president of the United States, it was met with cheers here.
But that's expected. The fact that there'd be people booing at certain points, even during his speech, they handed out signs. They gave him plenty of opportunity to be heard. Now, I don't know what they're going to show in the visual, but he couldn't get his speech started. It took almost 2 minutes for him to begin because his supporters would not stop cheering. All that I'm saying is that for the Democrats to be successful, it has to be over 90% of Sanders voters have to vote for Clinton. Right now, it's at 70%. 15% are undecided, and 15% are supporting Donald Trump. That is not enough for her to win this election.
Okay, so today we're going to see the call of the roll. We will see Sanders delegates cast themselves for him. Based then on what we saw yesterday, the way it started rather chaotically, but the way it ended, a rousing standing ovation as he left the floor.
As you would expect.
As you would expect, and interspersed with a speech from Michelle Obama, I think we can all agree, certainly held this entire place wrapped. As we then see that play out today, will it feel more like ceremony or more like conflict?
I think it'll feel more like ceremony. I think that after a certain time, you get all booed out. But I'm waiting to see what happens. So tonight, for me, it's two things. Number one is Bill Clinton. And when he first mentions Hillary, does he get applause or does he get booed? He's not as strong as he was. He's not as healthy as he was. He doesn't look the same Bill Clinton that we remember even from 2012. But the other thing I'm going to watch is how they're going to respond to those moms. Because they're going to talk about the police. And it's very difficult for the Democrats. They want to show solidarity with African Americans who feel like they're being attacked. But they also don't want to undermine their support with law enforcement and with military, anyone in uniform. So they're going to have to work this very fine line. And I'm surprised they're doing this.
You are?
Yes. Because
at all or tonight?
I'm surprised they're doing it at all because they're going to have to show support for the men and women in uniform. But these moms are going to talk about what happened to their kids, and it's a very emotional story. And there are a significant number of African Americans who are people of color. And this is just a really dangerous, hot, heated, passionate topic. it's the thing that you usually don't do at a convention.
It is certainly the hottest of hot buttons. Frank, you're a busy man. We very much appreciate the time today.
For you, always.
Yeah.